welcome back. So there's a few more things I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about fill and stroke so we could get some cool graphics going, or at least colors, right? Stroke is the outline. So this would have a stroke of orange. Okay, this is orange. And fill is the inside, and so this is a stroke of orange and a fill of red. Okay, not the greatest picture in the world, but you get the idea. How do we do that? Well, what we do is we define a fill. Okay, and actually let's do the thing we were talking about before, where we go to the processing reference. And you can Google processing reference. I just found it on the webpage there on the side. And we can actually look up fill. No fill is a lack of fill, so it'd be like transparent, right? And fill, well, this is a fill of 153. So if you give it one number, it's some form of gray, okay? And if you give it three numbers, the numbers are interpreted as an RGB value, okay? So a red, green, and blue value. This has a red of 204, a green of 102, and it gets you this kind of orangish color. You could play with a color picker. I think we did this before, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's in a different class. So this is us going around and picking colors, right? And it has some sort of hex value, but also it has an RGB value. So if you wanted this shade of green, let's get a nicer shade of green. Okay, I want that shade of green. So this shade of green is 18, 204, and 59, okay? So 18 red, 204 green, and 59 blue. Because of the cones in our eyes, we perceive these three colors, these primary colors, and so we're able to form any colors with just these three colors. Those are the three kind of basic colors we see. I don't know if that's true. I'm not an optics, but that story has some kernel of truth to it. But don't repeat it at parties with optometrists, because they might get angry at you. Okay, so let's do this, all right? So let's say we wanted a fill of that color we just talked about. So that says fill everything. So what that does is that picks up this green pen and it says every shape I draw, I'm gonna make sure I fill it with that green pen. And in fact, it'll do that to every shape after that's defined after this. And if we define a shape before it, it won't have this fill, okay? So we could do an example of that real quickly. Let's first do this and see if it really is that beautiful green color, and it is. And I'm gonna make it back to a circle. Look at that. Look at that ferocious green color. And we can do the same thing with stroke. So if we wanted stroke to be, I don't know, a ferocious red color, let's say, then we might make red a big value. It's 0 to 255. Okay, so it's 8-bit coloring here in processing. And we can talk about why it's 8-bit coloring. We did a little binary stuff, I remember, earlier in the semester, and we'll get to it again when we get to summer. But let's just say right now that 0 is a void of that color, like none of that color, and 255 is maximum of that color. So if I did 255 here, and that's 256 colors, right? We start at 0 and we go to 255. That's 256 different colors there. Okay, so 255 is max red, and I'll do, I don't know, 18 blue and 18 green. I don't know why I'm doing 18 blue and 18 green. I'm going to do 5 green and 18 blue. And so the stroke should be red. So we should see red and then green inside, and that's exactly what we have. We have red and then green inside, okay? So we have this kind of crazy thing going on here, all right? What else? So we have the fill, and we have the stroke, and we have this ellipse. Oh, that is funny. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, so cool. So now you can make different colors and stuff like that. You can also make the stroke have a bigger width, and so let's talk about how you might do that. And you could also make the fill have a transparency by defining an alpha. So if you give it 3 values, it's RGB, but then you can also give it an RGB value and an alpha, okay? And to do the other thing you can do, so you can define stroke, but you can also define the stroke weight, okay? And the stroke weight tells you how big of a pen or how fat of a pen you're using. So the stroke weight of 10, they're saying it's beastly because it's that, right? And we could do something like that too, just to play around with it. So stroke weight, I believe, of 10, something like that. So stroke weight of 10, and now we have the most radiant circle I've ever seen. All right, so a little artistry for all of you. I'll see you in the next video.